me right. Strike. No, okay. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, that's right. I was like, what's the word again? Oh, shit, I don't know. And I forgot demonetized for a bit. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Folk Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Gilbert. I am joined by the two OGs of the fucking podcast, my co-host, Harry, and then, of course, the part-timer, sometimes here, sometimes not, most of the time. Indiana Scones. What's going on, Indiana?
Hello, Gilbs. Yes, I'm back. Partial Marshall, because I'm only partially here. Yeah. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for being back. And what's going on, Harrison? It's been a few weeks since we've had you on as well.
Yes, it's been a little while. I'm starting to become partial Harrison and part-time myself these days. Yeah, so... And here I was like, cool, I'll miss out on the first episode of Secret War, but it's cool, I'll catch up, and then like the week after we'll do episode 2. But no, it's time for this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, so first of all, if it's any consolation for you, Harrison, next week we'll be doing episodes 3 and 4 of Secret Wars, so, awesome. You can be on that, and we can talk about how crazy that show is.
Yeah, no, I will enjoy that. I think I'll be around. Like I should be, hopefully.
Well, all right. So yeah, we can only hope. But yeah, so here I'm going to go to the chat real quick. Say what's up to Scarab Scuttlebutt Podcast. That's Ro from the Red 5 Network. How's it going? Good to see you. He says he's first. Hans Paul is in here. Oh boy, I can't wait to hear what Hans has to say about this movie because he has been. I don't know if you caught that. I think you were on that one, weren't you? The episode where we were shooting the shit and he popped on, or was that Peaky?
No, I don't think I was on that one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he jumped in with us and he talked about he tore this movie a new one, and before he even saw it, like when we were talking about the trailer.
Matt, Hans, having seen it, I'm on your side, dude. I am not impressed with this movie.
Hello, you awesome people. P.S. Indy 2 is far superior to this abomination. I gotta disagree with you on that one, dude. This one is right in the middle there.
Nah, man. Like I said it on Twitter earlier today, but just like having now seen Dial of Destiny, in my personal opinion, putting it above Temple is insane. Temple of Doom is a much superior movie to this. I'm not going to say it beats, Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. If you like those better, that's cool. But this new movie is not as good as Temple of Doom.
You're right. It's not as good. It's better.
Also, we have Dark Lycan here, who is new to the channel. So welcome, Dark Lycan.
Yeah, that is I want to say Baz, because that's a member of he's a member of the Monkey Lizard Army.
Thank you for coming over.
Yeah, thank you. We also have Scully, who's been on. He is a fan of your audiobooks, Harrison, and then he's also been on a few of the game streams. Like he's been on in the chat there.
Welcome, Scully.
What's going on?
I see.
Baldo, how's it going?
Ubaldo.
Lord Vader.
So how bad is the film? I don't think it's bad. Okay, you know what? We're only 3 minutes in. Let's do it. Let's get into it. All right, so I will put this, because I made a special thing just for this. If you haven't seen it, there are now spoilers. There are spoilers from this point on. You've been warned. So if you were planning on seeing it, sorry, Marshall, you're going to have to deal with the fact that
my entire face.
No.
Marshall's here, I'll tell you what.
Looks like the spoilers are wearing a cowboy hat.
We'll do it that way. There you go.
Okay, that makes sense.
But at any rate, so the movie. I'll go around the room. I'll start off with Marshall since you haven't been here in a minute, and then Harrison will go to you. Initial thoughts? What'd you think, Marshall?
It was fine. It was okay. It was a movie.
It was a movie.
It was a thing I looked at. It's
well, I mean,
it's okay.
Here, we'll
it's not the best one, not by a mile, but it was fine. Although it went on a bit long. Those are my initial thoughts.
It was definitely long. I'll grant you that. It was definitely two. I don't know if it deserved a 2.5 hour one, especially when like all the others were roughly 2 hours long and did it just fine.
Yeah, and we'll get into it, but the CGI in this was just kind of atrocious after the first 20 minutes. Ooh. And the first 20 minutes were arguably the best part of this film.
Okay, I'll take that. Harrison, how do you feel about it?
So, like, I'm gonna go like I think when we did the Raiders of the Lost Ark watch along, I said I didn't want to see this movie. So I'll say that straight up. Like, I'm biased. You know, I went into this not wanting to see it, but man, like, it just feels a bit soulless to me. This movie, like,
Yeah.
I did come out kind of angry, but like not because I don't know, like because it's not that bad a movie. Like, so Scully said, "How does Dial of Destiny compare to Crystal Skull?" I'll say it's better than Crystal Skull. I think Crystal Skull like has got stuff and it was like that's just bad. But this movie it's very paint by numbers, if you ask me. Like it just feels really like they're like, what's in an Indiana Jones movie? Nazis. We need a chase in an exotic location. We need these things, and then all of it happens just because they had to make a movie. I think Ro said it where it says like there's no, it's missing the magic. I think that's definitely it. That there's no like, yeah, you know, the thing that makes you go, I'm watching an adventure. They're just going places. Just like, all right, yeah, they're there now. Now they're here. And they're there.
Okay, so what you described. All right, now it's my turn. I thought it was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a good homage to, at least if you look at it as. So this could be a very controversial take, and y'all are gonna hate me for it. Maybe most of you anyway. But I think if you take Raiders, Last Crusade, and this, then you got a pretty damn good trilogy. You got like the epitome of these movies is those three movies right there. And you don't like that. It's because first of all, Harrison, it's because I know exactly what you like about what's it called, Temple of Doom. You like the gross part with the dude pulling the heart out, boom, 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 boom. So of course you didn't like this movie. It doesn't have that scary like when I said that I think this is better than Temple of Doom. There's no way that any of that could be better than Temple of Doom. It doesn't have a guy pulling a heart out of its chest.
Yeah, that would have improved. I like the fact that they referenced it. I like the bit when he's like complaining about like how everything hurts, and he goes like, "And I drank the blood of Kali," and I'm like, "Damn right you did." Yes, right. This movie
all right. Now let's be honest. No movie ever needs to be made. Frankly, like that, no movie needs to be made. And yeah, maybe you're right. Like Disney didn't need to make the movie. Like I think they did fine. I think it was completely fun. It's no way in any way, shape, or form better than Last Crusade or Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I mean, if you're gonna think that, then you're insane. You're just insane. But if you also think that Temple of Doom is better than this one, I think you might be insane as well.
It is better. It is.
All right. So let's go through this.
Way more fun than this movie.
Let's go ahead and go through it's a spoiler review. So what about this didn't you like, Harrison? Like what part was your like what made you said to yourself that if it wasn't for the podcast, you would probably have walked out on the movie. What part made you feel that way?
I think I got in and I was like, this movie is not doing anything. I think like maybe sort of like an extension of this movie didn't need to be made is that this movie doesn't have anything to say, like, or you know, to do. It doesn't. I don't think it has like a sort of like, here's a great place that we can take indie. Like I've got a really good idea for where indie's story goes next. It doesn't have it. It's just like a real retread of just like, let's just do the same things that indie's supposed to do. And I've said this before. I saw someone online saying like, "Oh, I'm so happy that he's back fighting Nazis." I'm like, no, I hate that. I hate that. Like after Temple of Doom, you went to Last Crusade, and there seems to be this idea that this is what an Indiana Jones movie needs to be. It needs to be this guy versus Nazis, and then somehow there's like a magical item involved. And I'm just like, nah. I prefer the idea of like Indigo would go on different adventures that involve different stuff. And so like this movie's so derivative, and it just feels like if this movie feels like a Xerox. It feels like they like put, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark through the Xerox machine. They added in a dash of Sean Connery, and they got Crusaders out of it. And then they did it again, and then they got this out of it. And now it's all faded and crappy. Like,
is it though? I mean, again, it felt like a pretty. Yeah, you're right. So it was Roe who said it was paint by the numbers. I believe he said like he put that in there, like Crystal Skull. Yeah. So it felt like a normal Indiana Jones. It felt like a paint by the numbers kind of story. I'm like, I don't know. They feel like they did a safe story. Like maybe the time travel thing was. I'll admit the time travel stuff was a little weird. And like that ending, I found myself in the theater sitting there when the ending part, when he's like, "No, I want to stay here with Archimedes." I'm like, why? Why would you want to stay there? You insane! Like, how much damage are you guys already doing to the timeline?
Because he knows this needs to end.
Like, yes, Gilbs.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. I feel like that was the one part of that I was like, this is dumb. But the rest of it, I was all right with. The time travel was, I'm like, with a name like Dial of Destiny, it's like, oh, like you could pretty much guess that's where they were going with it.
There were a couple of things with this movie as well where like I could see moments where I could think like there was a better story that could have been told. Yeah, Scully.
Yeah, there's time travel in the movie. So full spoilers, like I said, they time travel back to the time of Archimedes. The whole thing is about Archimedes' dial, and they go back in time. Like the ending of the movie, the last like 20 minutes is their plane flies through a wormhole basically to go and ends up back in ancient Greece. I don't know.
Italy, I believe. Yeah,
ancient Italy, and yeah, during during a major battle.
Was it Sicily they were in?
Sicily. There you go.
The
oh no, Syracuse.
Yeah. Whatever. The point is,
it begins with an S, and it's in Italy.
Yeah, it's some like Italian country or Italian city. I don't know, some ancient city. And the point is, they go back in time, and the reason they do that is because the Nazis, their plan is they want to go back in time and kill Hitler and basically take control of the Third Reich. It sounds like a cartoony Nazi plan. I'm like, that definitely sounds like something that like they would come up with for an Indiana Jones story. If you watch the Indiana Jones TV show, like the Young Indiana Jones, it definitely sounds like something that he would do.
Like, on the way back from the movie, I was trying to think of things like, what do I think's wrong with it? What am I going to send the podcast? And like, one of the things I was like, I feel there could have been better stories. Like, for example, I think like a more interesting story would have been if we, rather than starting the movie with Indy, where like even like after, you can still have the same opening with the young Indiana Jones, which we'll get onto at some point, but like rather than then go and now we hang out with Indy and Indy's at college and he's like fed up. I would have been more interested if we say like we'd started with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, and so like we know that she's doing a scam straight away, and she's like talking to Teddy, and if she'd been like, hey, I want to sell this Dial of Destiny thing, it'll get us out of this trouble, but I need this guy's help, so we got to try and convince this dude to get him to help us. And it's like a movie where we know that she's like messing Indy around, and when does he figure it out, and when is she going to come around and realize that she can't do this to Indy. Like that would have been more interesting. Or I would have been way more interested if they were like, the time travel thing happens immediately, like it happens like right at the beginning of the movie, and the rest of the movie is in the past. And it's like the Nazi guys go, oh, we didn't go to 1939 like we wanted to. Okay, plan B, start the Third Reich now. And then like it's Indy like having to try and beat these guys and also try and figure out a way home. Like that would have been something different and really interesting, instead of just like, okay, so Salar's going to turn up here, and then we're going to have a little kart race around another Middle Eastern kind of place around here. And then, we've got some trucks to fight on because you wouldn't need a truck to fight on. We'll do that there.
So I'll grant you that. It felt like a few of the characters were wasted. So Salah's character, it felt like he was only there just to be like, oh yeah, guys, remember Salah? Which that felt really sad. Like it was cool to see Salah, like he eventually like, oh, I grew old and I brought my children to America and we all became part of this nice. It was very I don't know, melting pot, patriotic, all that American bullshit. But which said the American. But anyway, it was all very nice. But as far as that's pretty much where it ended. What bugged me is that they didn't make Helena with the girl, his god, like instead of her being Marcus's daughter, they made her the daughter of like that dude, that random
guy we've met for this movie.
Who's never been in Indy's life before. So like that was a little bit of a bummer. Like there were definitely some choices that I would not have made. Indy back in the day fighting Hitler. Indy now trying to saving his life. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, he's sort of trying to protect the timeline. Well, I don't know. Like he doesn't want the guy's trying to do that in order to make Nazis overall win. So like you don't want the Nazis to win overall. We don't want to win with Hitler or without.
I will appreciate this. I do appreciate that they did use like, oh yeah, Nazi scientists, of course, they got people to the moon. I'm like, that's factual.
That's
Like
true.
I do kind of like that. That's what Kingdom Crystal. So another my hot take number 2. That instead of making King of the Crystal Skull, they should have made this movie. They should have put it, instead of making it about the Russians and aliens and shit. They should have instead made it about the 60s or the 69 like late 60s, about the space race and about how Nazi scientists were instrumental in that. And they should have made like a story around that. Like they should have made this kind of style movie instead of Crystal Skull, like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I feel like people would have been a lot more receptive to this story if it had come from those two. No? Yes? Any ideas?
I mean, yeah. Like I say, I think it's a better movie than Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull is flawed in so many ways.
Skull,
I could make a better movie than Crystal Skull.
Laughing my ass off.
Yes, you could.
I couldn't really. I'm sorry. Anyway, welcome to Melvin, Scarif, and T for Toxicus. And
yeah.
Justin Morrison, welcome.
Oh yes, indeed. T for Toxicus. Yeah, Toxicus. That's Tasha. That's our friend from the Horde. We have so many people from like other communities coming in and jumping in. So thank you. You guys are awesome. Okay, so Marshall, I need to have someone a little more. I need some positivity. Tell me, man. What did you? Was there anything good about this movie? What did you like about the movie, or didn't like? Tell me. What did you think? Like, what was your favorite part?
I will be the angel on your shoulder this week, Gilbs. I thought the opening 20 minutes was really good. The de-aging on Harrison Ford was, for the most part, good. A bit wonky in some places, but it was fine. I also really liked Mads Mikkelsen and Harrison Ford's acting in this. I thought he done really well, and Mads Mikkelsen is always the perfect villain. I thought that it was a nice touch, him talking about Shia LaBeouf and what happened to his son.
I thought that was kind of cool. Like I was sitting there like, how are they going to explain how Shia LaBeouf doesn't exist? And then right as the camera's panning across his apartment, we see the folded up flag and a picture of Shia LaBeouf. I'm like, oh damn, he died in Vietnam.
Yeah, I also understood like why he wanted to stay back with Archimedes. There's a movie called The Grey with Liam Neeson. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, I have. I love that movie.
Yeah, and they all die in different ways and whatnot. And there's that one guy who's really badly injured, and he's sat up on a log and he's looking at this amazing view in Alaska, and he's like, "I just kind of want to stay here. If you carry me back home, I'm going back to this just mundane life. I'd rather die here, looking at this amazing view, because I'm never going to experience anything like this again." I think that was kind of Indy's point of view from that. Was I've gone back in time. I'm witnessing this, what I've studied my entire life. I want to stay here. This is how I want to end things. So I thought that was a nice touch, and I really do wish he'd stayed.
Yeah, agreed. Well, you wish Shia LaBeouf had stayed?
No, I wish Indy had stayed in the past. Like, that was kind of his choice, right? He wanted to stay there.
Yeah, but like, how bad of a fuck up? It's like, Marty, you're just not thinking fourth dimension. Like, no.
But it would have been cool if he did stay, and then it skips to the future, and you kind of see, hints to him or things that he'd, made possible. And
I don't know, man. At that point, we're getting a little Back to the Future again. We're getting Short Round being like, Dr. Jones in the past, but he's still alive. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up the racist Short Round. But I mean, like, to be fair, it is.
Yeah.
but anyway, moving on.
The underwater sequence was quite cool as well.
I did like the water displacement thing. That was kind of cool because Archimedes did discover that. That's kind of a cool little puzzle solving. Water displacement. Archimedes was obsessed with water, and so they've had to throw rocks in the water to open the passage. Like, I kind of liked that. That was a cool little like nod to like, at least to me. Like, yeah, there were some stupid things. Like, so Mads Mikkelsen getting smacked in the face and then just surviving, and no one just explaining how he survived or what, him not being informed or anything. He's just good.
I fully expected him to have some reasoning to like how he'd healed his face or something, because I thought, oh, that guy's definitely going to have a dent or something. No,
I thought there was going to be something like time travel, something or other. Like,
exactly.
I used the dial and it rewound something. I thought it was going to be something like that, but
yeah,
nothing ever happened, and it kind of bugged me. Scully says decent way to write out Shia LaBeouf. Exactly. Like, and it shows later on in the people complained about this part, but he does like what would you do if you could go back in time? I'd go back and save my son. Like I tell him not to go, I tell him not to enlist and that he's gonna die. Like he had a real heartfelt moment where he's sad about his son dying in Vietnam, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's a valid thing. Like, and I kind of felt for that, and to say it doesn't have any soul or is soulless. I'm like, it may not have soul, but it definitely has heart.
I don't know, man. I am feeling cynical about this movie, and that felt like quite a cynical moment. It was like someone had a good idea of like, okay, how can we write this thing out? And like, oh, that could be a touching thing. And we'll just like throw it away in like 3 lines. And then we won't really deal with it again. Even when like Marion turns back up at the end, there's no like, and here's how like Marion's decided to come back and how they patched it up. She's just like, yeah, I'm back now. I'm good.
I mean,
yeah,
I kind of filled in the blanks on that when I read between the lines. But like, okay, so clearly probably Helena called her, or there's someone contacted her and let her know that hey, he almost died. He went to the past and almost died. She saw aliens and shit. She probably isn't, and also ghosts.
I think that's it. Like, if they're to the point where like they're getting a divorce, I don't understand why. Like, how is Marion's like response to? Oh, by the way, he's been doing all this shit again. Didn't tell you. He's just been off doing something. Like, I mean, to be fair, he didn't have much of a chance there. But like, how is her response then? Like, okay. I heard you're back, Indy. Are you back? Like, isn't like this is the only time I'm attracted to you, Indy, when you're almost done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that was kind of the big thing, but it's also like the death of their son kind of made him it broke him. Like you know what? And Indiana Jones could never be broken by the death of his son. I'm like, who the fuck do you think this person is, guys? Like, he's not the Ubermensch. He's not Batman, which is not.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. Like, I didn't even necessarily get that like from him. Like, I missed the whole the flag, in the background or whatever. I heard later on where it mentioned like he'd lost his son.
I love that. Indy was inspired by history. He was right where he wanted to be. Like it is true. In the part, he's like, "We're witnessing history, Helena," and he was all like fascinated by it. And then female Montgomery Burns cracked his jaw and kidnapped him. Jesus. Like, so, all right, that brings up an interesting point. I want to ask you guys. I want to pull the room and the chat. What did you guys think of Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Because I honestly didn't mind her. I thought she was like, yeah, whatever. There was that one dumb line with, he stole it, then I stole it, then it's called capitalism. I'm like, whatever. I did the same thing I did in the Batman when the chick talked about the white privilege asshole. I just rolled my eyes and said, whatever.
I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I think she is outstanding in Fleabag. Like, she's a really good actress.
Never seen that.
Yeah, and she's good in this. There are some parts that are a bit. I don't necessarily think it was her fault. More the case of the dialogue. But yeah, if you watch her in Fleabag, she's extremely talented. So yeah, I didn't mind her in this. I quite liked her.
Okay, yeah, Harrison, go ahead.
She is really good. And it comes so recommended that I was really surprised how much I disliked her in this movie. Like, I was going through the movie and I was like, why don't I like it? Why do I like this character? Like she again, like, just nothing felt good. I don't know how, it's sort of like I didn't enjoy any of her dialogue particularly. I didn't find her charming, like her character charming in any ways in the movie. And I was like, why are you guys putting me off Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Like, I didn't want to be put off, but I feel like I have been by this movie.
That's interesting because, again, I didn't really mind her. She wasn't so. I don't know. In my mind, now this is gonna be a weird train of thought, but stay with me on this one. So usually when I watch, like, you watch Indiana Jones films, you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. Who's there's Marion, and she was very attractive at that point in time, and arguably as well in King of the Crystal Skull. But then you also have in Last Crusade, you have the blonde German chick who he bangs, and then also you have that annoying one in Temple of Doom. But all of them are attractive women. I guess I was watching this movie being like, she's not that attractive. But I'm like, why do I need to have an attractive female, lead or female, like counterpart to Indiana Jones? Like, why can't she just be a chick? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sitting there like, I want to bang this chick. But I'm like, that's not why I feel like that's a lot of people's problem is that she wasn't like the damsel in distress that Indiana Jones is normally saving.
I can see that. I don't know. Like, there were things in some of the dialogue where I was like, there are things that she's doing that just come across as smug rather than endearing. Like,
Yes.
like there are other characters that do some of the kind of like, hey, I'm a bit of a wisecracking thief, and you never know when I'm going to actually be like, kind of scamming you out or something.
Mm.
And when she was doing it, I was just like, oh, you just come across like a bit of a douchebag. Like when she was doing like the card trick, and she's like, no, it's not a trick deck. I actually forced this card on you. And I'm like, oh, shut up.
She explains the trick to. I'm like, I although being that asshole who's like always, I don't like magic. I'm gonna look up how the trick is done. I'm like, that's exactly how I do that same thing. It's like when people are like, oh, that's cool. How'd you do it? I tell you exactly how I did it. You can go do it too. I love ruining magic for people.
But she didn't even do that. She just goes like, I forced on you.
Oh,
I'm like, did you now? Great.
All right, so yeah, I do want to point out Rose thing. He said they didn't take stuff for Return of Glory, which is what she kind of said in that. Like she points out that like, oh, you stole stuff and you sold it to the museum, which he kind of did. I'm like, there's several lines in those movies in those early movies that are like, oh, the museum will pay their usual rate. Yes, Indy, just give them to the museum and they'll pay you. It's like, he kind of stole stuff.
Yeah.
I do like when she.
Go ahead, Harrison.
So say I like it when she called him a grave robber. That was quite fun.
Yeah, no, it's kind of accurate. Marshall, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, we all love a lovable rogue, right? The scoundrel who's charming, and yeah, I wish they'd done a kind of a better job of getting us to feel that way about her, because as Harrison said, most of the time it was, no, she's just a bit of a douchebag.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I mean. It was kind of very up and down with her. Like she's really good here, and now she's down. Now it's
I did like her version of Short Round, her little like Hispanic Short Round.
Yeah, Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy. I liked that. That like, so as much as I don't care for I've said it multiple times about the racist character that Short Round is. I do like the character. I do like the movie, and it holds a special place in my heart. It's just the number 4. That's the whole place. So, but at any rate, watching that, it did give me vibes of Temple of Doom, and I was like, okay, I kind of see what they're doing here they're making her own Indiana Jones, but with a different little guy, with a different little dude to chill with her, and a similar story, strangely enough.
I was going to ask, do you guys think that this is kind of setting up a future series with Phoebe Waller-Bridge as the new kind of Indy with her sidekick Teddy?
If they do, then it's not going to be received well. Guarantee you that right now.
Yeah, I think she was asked in an interview like what she thought about that kind of thing. She said she does think there's room in the movie market for a kind of female action hero now. Because I mean, who do we really have that's a lead female action hero that's not Marvel, not Star Wars?
Croft.
Yeah, they canned Alicia Vikander though. God damn it.
Yeah, I did not hear good things about that movie.
Yeah, no.
Again, it was fine.
But that's my thing. Is Lara Croft maybe like Samus? You can make the shit out of a Metroid movie. I would watch the crap out of that movie.
Yeah, but we don't currently have one, Gil.
No, but all right, fair enough. All right. You guys are gonna laugh at me. Resident Evil.
I mean, kind of. Yeah,
I said a good female hero.
I told you you're gonna laugh at me. All right, so I want to go through the comments real quick. Han says female burns. Now I can't unsee it. So I'm gonna guess that's gonna be his take. Yeah, Melvin. After seeing her in this film, I took a vow of celibacy.
Jesus.
Yeah, Scarif. So Rose says he didn't mind her, and he says he feels she did have an arc, but it wasn't a strong one. Ubaldo says she did a good job. Not sure if he understood her motivation. Yeah, she just wanted money. She was basically just like, she was a grave robber, but she didn't lie about it. Like she was.
Well, they kind of like question that like throughout the movie a lot. Like Indy's like, was it someone who just cares about the money, doesn't memorize all of her father's notes and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, there is a bit more going on. And yeah, I would have preferred a more like better structured arc that is clearer. Whereas, yeah, like you said, Marshall, it goes up and down throughout the movie.
No one says I found her very abrasive and annoying. Had she been a man, she still would have been a very abrasive and annoying, more annoying than Mutt. Yeah, no, that was a good one too. It was like, I don't know how some people like Shia LaBeouf's performance. He was kind of annoying too.
Yeah, I can't agree with more annoying than Mutt, but I didn't enjoy it.
So AJ64, what's going on? I like your little.
Welcome.
I like the little big picture. I think it's like Michael Scott, but on Qui-Gon's face. I might be wrong.
That's pretty good.
Like, do you think the concept of the time loop undermines all the choices Indy made throughout the trilogy if he was always destined to travel back?
It does technically, I guess. I'm not a fan of like that kind of time travel where like, oh, it'll change stuff in our timeline, and then you go back and you're like, oh, I already had to do it. It's all a bit,
That's some very Doctor Who kind of story. It's like a fixed point in time kind of thing. So it means everything that he did up to that point meant he had to survive. I'm like, we all knew that Indiana Jones was going to survive. They're not going to kill him off in his own movie. So I'm like, yes and no, I guess.
Well, see, I kind of expected him to die towards the end. And
Really?
I think that's something Harrison Ford, well, I don't know the man, but it seems like the kind of thing that he'd maybe, to give that emotional send-off.
I don't know, man. He talked like when Force Awakens came out, he talked all kinds of shit about, as he always does, about Han Solo. Yeah, but then when this movie came out, he talked he was so happy that he got to be freaking Indiana Jones again. I think he loves this character, man. Like, yeah, truly, I think he really loves being Indiana Jones.
I think Disney told him to keep his mouth shut this time. Like...
Maybe. I don't know, maybe they're like, we'll give you all the best weed. We'll give you the primo stuff if you just shut the hell up. So yeah, so like what Rose, I was going to bring that up. If box office determines anything, then it's going to be a hard no for a Phoebe Waller-Bridge Indiana Jones, because from the looks of it, like on boxofficemojo.com, we got it opened to 60 million that opening weekend, as we all know. And right now the estimated thing is about 102 million domestic and 172 million worldwide is the estimated. But although that's not official, because I think Disney has been hiding it about what their actual numbers are.
Yeah, what was it? 350 million to make?
Something like that. Here, let me look up Indiana Jones.
I think it was the most expensive one they've done so far.
Budget. It was a whopping $295 million, and that's before marketing, which, as I understand it, is a whole other like 100 million sometimes, or it can be like pretty high up. So they have a ways to go to break even. Damn. There we go.
Welcome, Tim.
So yeah, what was he going to say here, or Marshall?
I just said welcome to Tim. Tim's talk on your
left.
What's
up, Tim? Good to see you. On your left by the cave.
Tim, how'd you keep getting in here?
He's by the Bat Cave.
Well, look out for the boulder, Tim.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't think. All right, so I don't think any sequel is being made. The movie bombed hard. See, I wonder. All right, so here's my question. Me and Ro were actually we were talking about this on Twitter. Why do you guys think the movie bombed? Was it a solo situation where they like the fandom menace kind of like boycotted it on purpose, or was it just that the movie had that people weren't interested, or are we all just waiting for it to come out on streaming service and not wasting the $12 it'll cost?
Well, this is the struggle now, right? With movies, a lot of them seem to be flopping and bombing, and I just don't think anyone has any idea what to do about it, because it's like, yeah, we'll wait for streaming. We'll wait for a good version of it to appear on website.
Just to fuck with people, they don't put it on Disney Plus or like Hulu. They don't release it anywhere.
Extend it in theaters and don't put it on streaming. It's like you have to go to the.
What do you think, Harrison?
I suspect that there are a lot of people who are like me, of just like, I wasn't asking for another Indiana Jones movie and saw the trailer and were like, you're not really offering me anything that makes me want to go see this movie. There's no like interesting element to it. Again, I'm like, I've seen this movie 2 times already. Better. Like, why am I gonna see this? And I think that's one of the things, like for such a huge budget to do essentially nothing interesting with it. It's like that's your bad, Disney and Lucasfilm. Like you just made like a not very interesting movie where our lead is a lot older, can't do as much, has to be turned into this weird puppet version of himself, like for a good chunk of it, and then can't even like, you can pay all that money to get his face different, but he still sounds 80. Like, what's that about?
He did really sound old. I feel like that's weird because they de-aged Mark Hamill's voice. Why couldn't they do it for Indy?
Yeah, like Indy shows up in that first one. It's like, oh, that's, I was like, oh yeah, they did do a good job on that de-aging. And then he's, oh yeah, here I am. You're a Nazi, right? I'm like, Jesus. It's like, that sounds like 8 blunts a day.
8 puns a day. It's good stuff. Check Hans's comment.
It's all the dust in the desert, you see.
All right, so thank you, Marshall. I'll check Hans's comment. Hans says, again, how would you compare this movie from a technical point of view to a Spielberg era, directing and editing mainly? For example, does Mangold manage to capture the way Spielberg managed a scene? Perhaps not. All right, so I'll look up what Mangold had. Mangold movies.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it holds up. It's that special sauce that's not there. You know
okay,
what I mean?
So first of all, I don't see anything particularly. The Wolverine was bad, but Ford versus Ferrari was good. Logan was fucking incredible, and 3:10 to Yuma is one of the best goddamn Western movies of all time. So all from let me see, what's his name? I think it's James Mangold. So you know what? I'm like, I think that he does a pretty damn good job. Like, he can, as a director, he can do a pretty good job. So I'm like, I wasn't going into this being like, I feel like some people were going into this just being like, oh, there's no way he could capture the exactly that. Like, there's no way he could capture the scene of Spielberg. And I got to remind you that Spielberg did a scene where Indiana Jones went into a refrigerator and got blasted across the map. So I'm like, let's not suck the ghost of Spielberg's dick too hard.
Yeah, while Spielberg is, a legend, and for good reason, he has done some not that great movies. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull being one of them.
Yeah, and let's see. Scarif, I know a few fandom menaces that went as well, but again, I can't help but feel like those people went just to talk shit about the movie. Just to say that, I did go see the movie, and I'll talk shit about it all I'm like, go fuck yourself.
I think it's just, kind of unfortunate that people do go to movies just to, be able to just to shit on them, going in expecting something to be terrible. But
I'll admit, I did that for Rise of the Beasts, and it was not great. It was not great at all.
I couldn't find anyone to go with me, Gilb. So,
oh man, I would have totally gone with you. We could have chat all on that movie all for the whole 2 hours.
Everybody just absolutely refused.
It's not great. So, have you seen it already, Marshall?
No. I didn't want to be that creepy guy at the back of a cinema watching a Transformers film on my own.
Excuse me, sir. I do that all the time with every Marvel. I did that with Spider-Verse like 3 times.
Yeah, but it's America, Gilbs. People expect you to be strange, though.
Who says, where's Peaky?
Had to get one in.
Yeah, Peaky he's too busy being cool and not watching this movie.
Where's Peaky?
Yeah, unfortunately. See, I don't know. I might be in the minority here. And in fact, actually, I know I am. So I'm going to pull this up. Here, let me do... Crap.
You could call this podcast Minority Report, Gilbs.
Minority Report? That's not bad. I like that.
Minority Report, a much better movie that I would have preferred to have watched.
Yeah, I mean, just give it time, Harrison. One day it will be its 20th anniversary as well, and we can watch that movie and just sit down and talk about Tom Cruise.
I mean, I'm up for that as long as I don't as long as I don't get a no need for it Minority Report sequel.
I remember the
Minority Report, the second.
Oh, that would absolutely be a reason we would do that, wouldn't it? Is if they made a sequel.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Minority Report. No one runs.
Minority Reported. It's a prequel.
Minority Report. Minority Blocked.
That's funny. So Melvin says, I don't think it was a boycott. Everyone said it was CAC. I don't know.
Yeah, Melvin.
So people chose not to spend their money to see it. It'll be streaming in a few weeks. See, that's my thing. Again, all right, so fair enough. Maybe that is just what it is. Is not. Maybe I'm just projecting a little bit because I have seen that a couple of times now. But fair enough. Maybe I'm just projecting it. And but I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it was fun. And there are at least a few people, the fun people. So we got 7% saying it was incredible. I don't think it was that crazy. I don't think it was that crazy. But I'm going to put it in. It was okay. So, but yeah, we got 19% saying it was good. 18% saying it was okay. We got 11% saying it was bad, and a whopping 44% saying it sucked. And that is out of 165 votes.
Where are all these people when we do the review?
I know, right? Where are all you? They're waiting for Harrison to release his next audiobook.
True.
That's where that is.
That's true.
All right, so Tim says, I think the quality of movies are just going down, and with indie, technically it's ended 3 times now. That is true. The last they rode off into the sunset, then he and Marion got married, and they ran off into the sunset, and now, well, not so much they ran off into the sunset. Now Indy just got back with his wife and grabbed his hat while the sun went down.
Yeah, in like a weird way of like, I can't get it up if I don't have my hat on.
Don't care if 310 to Yuma was a remake. It was glorious. It was damn good. I don't give a flying fuck if it was a remake.
Yes, some remakes are amazing. You know,
He says Ford vs. Ferrari was a very good movie, better than I expected, and I expected good. Let's see. All right, so Hans asks, so should I watch this movie knowing I won't like it and complain or skip it and get told to have no opinion as I haven't seen the movie? Well, I mean, I wouldn't say you have no opinion. You can definitely have an opinion, but it'll be a misinformed one because you haven't seen the movie. So, because again, for all you know, Hans, for like maybe after everything we say, you go in expecting to hate it, and what if you actually kind of like it?
Here's my thing, Hans. Like I would definitely say don't go see this in a theater. Like mostly based on the fact that you're already not that into it. Like, if you're gonna see this movie, make sure that you're somewhere you can do something else while it's on, because it's long. And I was just like, oh man, if I could at least like be on my phone or doing some other stuff, it'd be much easier to get through this movie. So,
all right, in the interest in the interest of keeping Disney alive, but in the interest of keeping movie theaters alive, go fucking see it.
Oh,
go see it in the theater. I love
Wait
movie
2 weeks.
theaters.
Go see Barbie. It'll be fine.
Don't go see Barbie.
Is that how
go see, go see Oppenheimer. I'm definitely gonna go see Oppenheimer. I'll tell you that much.
I might go see Oppenheimer first, and then go immediately into Barbie as like a palate cleanser.
Gonna watch the I don't know why everyone is so fucking hung up on the Barbie movie, dude. What the hell?
Right. Here's my thing with Barbie. I reckon Barbie will be good because it's got a good cast, and also, for some reason, this seems to be a thing now where stupid movies that shouldn't be good are good. Like particularly ones based on toys have been great. See, like the Lego movie is just like awesome. Okay, I'm not going to say anything about the Duplo movie. What was it? The Playmobil movie. That one didn't work out. But they keep making movies of dumb stuff that you're like, that shouldn't be any good, and then you go see it and it's amazing. And I think that's what they're doing with Barbie, because I don't think if it was bad, I don't think it would be out. I don't think anyone would say yes to a bad Barbie movie script.
See, I'm right there with you, Ro. You can't pay me enough to go see Barbie. I'm not going to go see Barbie. That is such a
just because it's
movie.
Barbie.
Well, also, like I like Margot Robbie as much as the next guy, but I'm like, I don't need to see you in all pink dresses, driving pink cars at the pink beach with your fucking like people. I love how people get angry about like, oh, the pussification of Jango Fett or Boba Fett, the pussification of Indiana Jones, but then they see the Barbie movie and they're like, oh yeah, Ken, I want to go see that. Like, why? Why?
It's different, Gilbs.
Like, I'm like, when the character's just a pussy from the outset, you're totally down for it.
This is a bit weird. I understand how you got a problem with them doing that, but you're like, but I can't go see a man who likes fashion. What? I might come out wearing a scarf.
I'm just saying, I was never a Barbie guy. I was never that kid who went through the weird phase of like, I'm gonna play with my sister's Barbies. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Well, Gilbs, I've never played with Barbies, but I still want to see this movie.
I love that song by Aqua. I'm waiting for the minute it plays.
Actually, I tell a lie. My niece got me playing Barbies a few weeks ago, and I had a great time.
Oh, that's actually really sweet, Marshall.
I knew a few girls growing up who were like, "Hey, come and hang out with me, and then we'll make my Barbies like make out." And I was like, "Okay,
see, you know what I want?
I'll see what happens here."
You know what I want? I want them to stop trying to make toy movies, because toy movies they made Battleship, they made Transformers, and the only good, really, really good Transformers movie is fucking Bumblebee. And you know what? Like, so they need to just stop it. And this newest, I'm sorry, Marsh, I'm going to spoil it for you. I'm going to do it right here, right now. They have an end credit scene at the end of Rise of the Beast where like the dude, the human guy who's like chilling with the Transformer, gets recruited to G.I. Joe. I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of toy movies. They need to stop with that bullshit. Like, I don't want a toy multiverse.
What do you want, Gilbs?
Another Spider-Man movie would be nice.
Jesus.
Did you go see the G.I. Joe movie?
I didn't see it in theaters, but I have seen it, yes.
Because I heard that those were really good. Because that's what I'm thinking. It's just like they're just going to make like a good movie. Like,
I didn't see the Snake Eyes one. I heard that was bad, but I have nostalgia for the old Channing Tatum one because I'm like I was a kid. I was like maybe 14, 15 at that point. I was just like right at the right
old?
Something like that. Yeah, I remember being
pretty old.
I was in high school at that point.
I'm looking through
Tim says Oppenheimer first, but I'm a Barbie girl. I'm a Barbie girl. No, we're not doing that. I think it's funny that song is actually not included in the movie. Like
Is it not?
Like I think they made like a big old fuss about that. It's like, yeah, we're not putting it in the trailers. It's not in the movie. It's nowhere.
Oh, but what? What's the best like bit of Barbie media ever made?
So I'll buy my caramel macchiato and do white girl things and have a hot summer. My hot girl summer.
Joe would have made this movie better if they played Dr. Jones by Aqua.
They played Dr. Jones. You know, I wonder, would it be better, guys, if they put like what's her name, the chick, the annoying one, her screaming for like an hour? I feel like that's what you guys were missing. Is it if they had put Willie screaming in there like we're crashing? I feel like they'd put that. You guys would have been all over it.
No, like what I would have liked is a different like Indiana Jones movie, a new Indiana Jones movie, not this recycled Indiana Jones movie. Like have him do something else. Like at this point, it feels like that stupid section of Aquaman where they have to go across Italy and all this stuff to find stuff was more of a new Indiana Jones movie than this was, because at least they went somewhere different.
I don't think it is embarrassing. First of all, hey, what's up, Mobrimba? I don't know. I have no idea what that. But he says, "Fuck, that's embarrassing." You have cat ears. I disagree. I think that means that he is a girl. He's getting laid on the reg, bro. Like,
all right. And they are not cat ears. Thank you very much. They are puma ears. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Man. Do you have puma ears? I didn't think so.
It's like a puma.
Yeah.
Puma pants.
It's like a big cat of some kind. Like a puma.
Like a mountain lion.
No, red versus blue. Red versus blue. You guys aren't cool. You guys didn't watch Red versus Blue like me. Willie screaming and Finn yelling. Rah! Yeah, no, dude. I don't understand what people like scream. Y'all with the screaming characters, man.
They can fly now.
See, Hans says, yeah, it's gotten very rare to get excited by a movie nowadays, and yeah, I'm sure this one won't do it for me. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's so be it. But still, though, I definitely at least say don't do what Harrison said. Don't just put it on and then go do something else, because I'm like, then you're not gonna watch the movie.
No, I mean, like as long as you can like be there in a room and like I don't know, whatever you do while you're watching movies, like tweet or knit or draw, do a coloring book. So just somewhere where you can, and you can pause it and like get yourself a drink and get up and stuff, because otherwise it's just like you're just gonna have a bad 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I could definitely see I mean, if that's my thing is if you go into this movie expecting to hate it and almost I'm like, I'm sorry, I hate to be predicting, but almost wanting to hate it, because I feel like some people do definitely are like have that mindset of like, I just want to hate it. I want to look for things that I'm not gonna like. So if you go into it with that kind of mindset, it's not like it's a waste of money. That said, I would, knit. Wah, knit.
You'd be surprised, my bro. like it's whatever you want, you do with your hands while you're chilling watching TV.
Yeah.
Get your DS back out.
But yeah,
towards the end, my knees were aching. I was trying to stretch my legs out in between people's seats.
Yeah, no, oh man, I'm getting a little old. I'm getting a little old. I need to put my legs up on the seat in front of me and like stretch out because I'm like, fuck, dude, it's like my knees hurt. I've been sitting too long.
Yeah, I needed assistance getting out of the seat.
Okay, I don't know. I think the movie was fine. That's all I gotta say is that it was fine. Y'all gotta decide for yourselves though. Like really, the opinions of us three really mean nothing because we're just a bunch of fans like the rest of you, just talking about bullshit. Like, I will say this at least. I think that all right. It was a waste of Antonio Banderas, or Banderas, whatever how you pronounce his name. It was a waste of Antonio Banderas. They should have had him in there for long, or really not let him die because that was lame.
Yeah, no, that's right. Especially like he kind of dies in a real sucker way because he's like. They're like, I'm going to fight back against these guys. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, but that's Zorro, man. Like, let him do his stuff.
I like how he shoots the dude in the leg and it just Indy, don't tell him anything. He tries to run at him and he gets shot again. I'm like, wow, that was a waste of Spaniard. Mexican? I don't know where.
I believe he's Spanish.
Okay, that was a waste of a Spaniard. Oh, like I'm glad they didn't do it to Sala. That would have been met with a lot more of anger.
Give him hell, Indiana Jones.
You know what bugged me about Sala? He didn't have his accent. Maybe that's just the years of living in America. He lost it, but he didn't have his the very like. I don't want to say. I hesitate to say Arabic accent, but he like the accent he had in the first two or in the movies that he's in.
Yeah, it's a little odd. Something that's really odd, I find, is everyone's ability to punch. Like, apparently, like you know how in like kung fu movies, like everyone in China knows kung fu. Like, everyone in Indiana Jones knows how to knock someone out with a single punch, and it's very easy. Because like Salah does it to that dude, just like boom. It's like what?
Yeah, Helena smacks him over the head, and he passes out. I think he gets he gets knocked out a couple of times in that movie.
I kind of like that trope, though. You know, the Uncharted games where all the good guys just really good hand-to-hand combatants, despite just being regular people, and Nathan Drake can survive entire armies after him.
You want to talk about a movie that was bad? The Uncharted movie. That movie was just butt cheeks.
I still haven't seen it because it has Mark Wahlberg in it.
Don't see it. He does a bad job as Sully, and I'm sorry, as much as I love what's his nuts as Spider-Man, Tom Holland as Spider-Man, he does a really bad job as Nathan Drake.
Yeah, it's weird casting to make him Nathan Drake.
Because he was riding the Marvel wave. Everyone was like, "Oh, Tom Holland."
Yeah, it doesn't look anything like him. Like, kind of too young to be Nathan Drake. It's all odd.
See, Melvin Deeply says, if you want a film to pass the time, then this one will do. If you're a fan of Indiana Jones, this film will disappoint you. See, I am a fan of Indiana Jones, and I didn't think it disappointed me. But as a fan, you'll want to see. So yeah, as a fan, you'll want to see it because what if it's good? What if you like it? But it's like no, I can't say that. That's gonna be a bad thing. I can't say that.
Keep your pie hole shut, boy.
Keep your nasty Americanness to yourself.
How many Wilhelm screams did you all hear? I remember one falling off the train.
Yeah, I remember that, and I'm tired of the Wilhelm scream. I'm like, it's not funny anymore, guys.
You have to put the Wilhelm scream in there somewhere.
I hope whoever, I assume Wilhelm, got some royalties for that all these years.
Wilhelm, it's not a random extra where they're just like, "Hey, Wilhelm, come over here." They dropped a brick on his foot.
It's from like a Western TV show, I think. It's like from like a episode of what's the one with the burning map at the beginning?
Bonanza.
Yeah, it's like a guy from like Bonanza or something like that. It's like some like minor character just gets shot and falls over, and that's like his screen.
They just used that forever.
Yeah, it just got stuck there.
This'll do.
You know what? We need to make a motion, or we need to make like a movement to change that. When you use the Wilhelm scream, change the Wilhelm scream to like make it something stupid like Goofy. Like do something like change the Wilhelm. We need to make a movement to change the Wilhelm scream in movies from now on. But all right, so I like Ubaldo's saying here. He said, we need to remember that when we go, we just need to go to movies to have fun and leave reality for a moment. I'm like, that is exactly what it is. Like, we need to stop being so serious about our movies and just take it, just chill.
I mean, like, I agree, but I think, I didn't have fun.
Harrison,
that's why I've got a problem with it. It's like,
next time, Harrison, if you're not expecting to enjoy the movie, here's what you need to do. Smoke a big old fatty, take a couple shots, get a little crossfaded. You'll have a lot more fun. Go to I don't know if you guys have this in it. Go to like the Flicks Brew House, or like to go to a place where they sell beer but also show movies.
I legit, again, like multiple times in the movie, I was like, what can I do about this movie? And one point I was like, could I just sleep during the movie? That I've been here. I was kind of tired, and I was like, I could just try sleeping. Maybe I'll do that.
Just lay back and fall asleep, and fuck India, paying for a very comfy chair to sleep in.
Imagine us three going to the movies. Like Gilbs is smoking a fatty, Harrison's asleep, and I'm complaining about my old man knees.
That's I used to go to the movies and want to eat candy and watch the movie. Now I go to the movies and I'm like, how can I get high and watch it? No, I'm kidding. It's like, how can I do that? That's not gonna piss off the parents that are like 3 seats down from me with kids. Oh my god. Okay, so I think I'll ask this question, and I'll ask this both to the chat and to you guys: is that what would have made this movie better? Like, what would you have done to make it? So I'm sure the answer. Before I get the sarcastic, I wouldn't have made the movie. You are the head of Lucasfilm. You have to make an Indiana Jones film. What do you do to make it better? Harrison, go first.
Okay. Well, I gave a couple of ideas earlier. So either you could do the time travel thing, but do it really early on, and then most of your movie is in the past, and like it's like an Indiana Jones version of Army of Darkness. Like he's in the past, he's having to fight Nazis, but like he's like really excited as well because he's discovering all these archaeological things and whatever. Good in that. Or have it a bit more like Mad Max Fury Road, where Indiana Jones is a core character to it, but he isn't like the lead that you follow all the time. It's more like about going to get Indiana Jones, and he keeps that kind of legendary status, like I mean, he's more of a Jack Sparrow-esque kind of slightly off to the side character, but you mostly follow Phoebe Waller-Bridge around.
All right. I'd be kind of cool with that. It's almost like Indiana Jones, but like by way of Back to the Future, where like Jones is like the Doc Brown. Helena, we have to go back to the future.
Yeah, like even if it was more like that, and that could have been that whole "I want to stay here" could have been the entire, a conversation that spans the whole movie. Where he's like, I don't know if I want to go back. I haven't got things to go back for. Maybe she doesn't know about his son, and so then he like reveals that, and it's a more like bigger moment, which is why he's, where he reveals why he's so willing to give up his life. Is like, I lost my son, my wife is leaving me, like I haven't got stuff left. Rather than it's something that they tell us like as soon as we see old Indy.
All right, all right. I kind of like that idea. That we're just like I do enjoy the idea of going back in time and doing and having him like come to terms with like I can't stay here, like with the timeline, that kind of thing. I do kind of like that idea, and Helena having to like instead of making it like a five little like not even 5 minute, like a little 2-minute thing where she just smacks him over the head and forces him to come back. I do kind of like that idea of like maybe have her convince her like Marion's there waiting for you, you can get her back or some shit. Kind of have him like find that spark or find the old Indy in the past. But see, Marshall, how about you? What would you have done to make this movie better? Well, how would you have changed it?
I know this is kind of hard because of Harrison. Why did I forget his name? I'm thinking about Harrison.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford's kind of old, but just more practical effects. The CGI just did kind of ruin it a bit for me with the action scenes. Just more practical effects, more sense of adventure, I think, because that's why I love Indiana Jones. And again, like the Uncharted games, it's that adventure that you enjoy the most. So yeah.
All right, I like this. So first of all, we have Scarif Rowe saying more cowbell. I need more cowbell. Anybody?
I got a disease, and the only cure is more cowbell.
Never question Bruce Dickinson. Love that. I love that one. That's a great. Yeah. So Tim seconds the cowbell, and Ubaldo seconds wants more cowbell. So all right, guys, that would have made the movie better. Just give Indy a cowbell the whole. Just bring in a cowbell the whole movie. Dum 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 dum. All right. Scully says no time travel. Okay, but if we're doing that, that means that. So what would you replace it with? Like, because if we're not going to do time travel, I had an idea that we could maybe do like Nazi scientists in NASA do some like weird. They have some weird space thing on the. They have some weird thing on the moon. Like I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to have Indiana Jones in space.
Just don't have it just being Nazis. Just have Indiana Jones has to go rescue something, and then some dudes don't want him to have it. Like anything like that. Like,
but it has to be poignant. It has to be either Nazis or the Russians or Koreans. It has to be something very anti-American because that's what not Indiana Jones is. He's a very, Pro USA.
I don't. Just how about you put down your propaganda for a second, America?
That's what they tried to do in this movie, and it didn't work. It fell flat, apparently.
What do you mean they tried to? This movie's full of like pro-America stuff. It's on fucking Moon Day. like all the stuff that's in America is during a parade about how amazing the accomplishments of America are.
I mean, it was pretty... all right, you know what? Not to be that guy, but did the UK land on the moon? Okay, then. I'm
No,
sorry. It's like, no, we were doing important shit.
do you know what we were doing? We were rebuilding after a war that never happened on your pissing continent. All right,
You do have
the
a
rest
point
of the
there.
world was destroyed. Remember that?
You do have an excellent point there, and we were just in a pissing contest with the Russians, but we won. I'm like, we won. We got to the moon, motherfucker. What'd you guys do? Jack shit. Well, except
We're still rationing, you asshat.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the Russians. Like, we got to the moon. What'd you do? We got the first man, the first satellite, the first dog, first monkey, first woman. It's like, oh fuck. Well, we got the first man on the moon, so like, that's basically America for you.
Gilbs, is it true that NASA spent millions of dollars inventing a pen that could write in space, and the Russians just used a pencil?
You know what? You and my goddamn brother with always talking shit about NASA with that fucking the pen that didn't need to be made because they had
I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, it is true. That is in fact true. They did make a pen that writes in zero gravity, but yes, it was stupid because they had a pencil.
I heard that wasn't true. I heard that was like a thing made to make America.
It's my understanding that is a thing, but maybe it's not. But either way, yes, no, that would be a stupid thing to make, especially when there is in fact pencils. But I mean, Velcro. Well, no, Velcro was an older thing. They just make big scratch resistant glass. That's the thing. Scratch resistant glass.
It's fine. It's fine.
Water purification.
I think it's a good thing you guys went to space and went to the moon. Just don't give me this shit of like, well, that makes us better than you. Like, you just had money, all right?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. I don't even mean about that. It makes us better than the Russians. The UK, we understand the UK was built where they understand England was still rebuilding. It's the Russians who were just like, yeah, suck it.
I mean, again, the Russians were also rebuilding because again, they actually had to fight a war in their country, unlike somebody.
Hey, it is not my decision that we didn't fight the Nazis over here. I would have been no, I wouldn't have. It would have been totally cool if they had flown over here because I wouldn't have been born for another 50 years.
It's real easy to brag about a war that you joined 3 years late and didn't have to fight at home.
You're the guy who just says the joke louder and everybody thinks he done it. And he gets all the credit for the joke.
I mean, yeah, that's America for you, dude. No, but anyway, so let's go ahead and go back to before I say anything that pisses off our overseas audience.
Well, I'm worried about making all of our Americans unhappy. I'm not anti-American, guys, but
but Han says cast a young, sexy Chinese guy to play a young short round, and make Indy his mentor. But he's the protagonist, and Indy gets kidnapped by some villains. So basically, make short round the head of like a 20, make it like a 20 or 30-year-old short round, something like that, and make him like the Indiana Jones of the movie.
Yeah, you get the Snake Eyes guy.
Somehow, short round returned through dark science, secrets only the Sith knew.
Imagine if they had done that though. Imagine like how bad it would have been if like instead of like that Salah bit, also like someone like gets knocked down, then you just hear no time for love, Dr. Jones.
I don't know.
Like,
I feel like maybe that would have been a better thing if they had gotten an older short round, or if they had actually gotten the dude who played short round to show up and save Indy. I feel like that would have been received a lot better.
Yeah, he was filming Everything Everywhere All at Once at the same time. So they couldn't get him, I believe.
But yeah, if they had, I feel like people would have been a lot happier with that. If him and Short Round had gone around trying to save the day again, you all would have been so much more happy than anything they could have ever pulled off with any of the other actors. They could have brought Sean Connery back from the dead, and that would not have been received as well as Short Round returning.
It's a miracle they didn't deepfake Sean Connery.
Oh God, do you think they? Ooh,
they'd have to get permission from his family, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's
like
no
they
way.
did with Carrie Fisher, right?
Yeah.
See, Mo says Harrison Ford was too old. It would be 100%. If I made it, it would be 100% CGI. 80 is too old. They made Indy pathetic instead of someone you want to be. and escapism is somewhere I don't want to escape to. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, even our heroes have to get old. Like they had Old Man Logan, Old Man Superman. They've had Old Man Spidey. Like everyone has to get old eventually. Batman ended up, becoming Batman Beyond, like because Batman got too old. Like they have to have the character gets old because they're human. That's what makes them like more interesting as well. Is that they age like the rest. They're not perfect.
I would have been interested maybe if they'd tried to think of like, look, we're just going to recast Indiana Jones and like do it like other Batman style thing of like we've had this Indiana Jones for a while, but now this is the new Indiana Jones and he'll do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Avoid CGI as much as possible. Hire decent writers and pay them. Well, I mean, really get obvious about it. Let's see. Tim says he wouldn't cast Phoebe. I'd cast Marty McChicken. And they travel back with the Flash and to Starbucks where Kathleen Kennedy's making coffee. Oh my god! To go see the Barbie and have a hot. Damn you, Tim. See. The time travel stuff isn't as far fetched as any of the other indie MacGuffins. Agreed. I refer you back to Kalima. Like the whole thing is about 3 rocks.
Yeah, but like somehow I find it. Obviously, the thing of like how the guy pulls the heart out without like hurt, they're fine. Then afterwards, like, is ridiculous. But I find that more set in the real world than we found a portal in the clouds, and Archimedes worked this out years ago.
See, all right, so here's an interesting idea. In 10 years' time, when everyone forgot about Harrison Ford, if they could find someone to take the mantle of Indiana Jones. Would you guys be down for a different, maybe not even Lucasfilm, but like, would you be down for another Indiana Jones made like with another successor? Boy, like, let's say they just, George Lucas came out of retirement, out of the hole that he's been living in for wherever, and Spielberg decided that they were going to make a 6th Indiana Jones film with a younger guy, but it's about like, back in the 20s or back in the 1920s when Indiana Jones was in his, whatever. Like, would you go for it?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I that would be much more interesting to me. Like I don't know what you do, like maybe something a bit more like The Mummy or something. But yeah, he's off finding something else, and there's just nasty men who don't want him to have the thing. Maybe have him turn up at like Wakanda or something. Like
have him find the Millennium Falcon.
Like
dude.
Indiana Jones versus the Phantom.
Indiana Jones, Han Solo. Like there's a thing where Han Solo gets apparently they get like a malfunction. They end up in our galaxy and they crash on Earth, and then he dies. He gets shot with an arrow and dies in the Millennium Falcon. And then like hundreds of or like thousands of years later, Indiana Jones finds the Millennium Falcon and like the arrow inside fucking Han Solo, and he's like, that's weird. and like it shows that Chewie is still alive, dude. If they did that, that'd be the final stride. I feel like people would like lose their shit collectively.
Yeah. Where'd you really go after time travel?
Yeah, no. So, Scarif says, no recast, retire the character, done. Like he would just be done with. Mr. Action never saw the Jones movie or movies. Oh wow. See,
what have you seen, Mr. Action?
Apparently, he saw. I think he did see Secret Invasion. I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
With a name like Mr. Action, and you haven't seen Indiana Jones.
See, hot take: the shuttle program was a huge waste of money. We didn't have Elon Musk with his weird $1 billion electric car money trying to make reusable rockets. So I'm sorry. Yes, the shuttle was stupid, but I'm like, that's what we had. Anyway, so let's see here. Mr. Action says he would just not have made the movie, which is I knew that was going to come up eventually. Says it's 4 movies in, we don't need any more.
It's easy to say that in hindsight, right? It's like I stubbed my toe. If I could do it again, I just wouldn't stub my toe.
Mm.
Like they wanted to make a movie.
I feel like
not everyone liked it.
It's tough because there's more stories to be told. Obviously, at least maybe not with old Indy, but with a younger Indy. But the problem is that Indiana Jones is old. The man is an old man. He's an old frail stoner. Like,
Marshall needs some more tea.
I know.
Do I look like I'm falling asleep? But yes, you're right. My tea.
Did you know that we all have Harry and the Last Straw? Gilbert and the super long movie, and Indiana Scones and the Tea of Destiny.
The Tea of Ecstasy, Gilbs.
It doesn't work because it's Indiana scones.
Scones. Oh, scones. No, scones.
That's a weird argument that happens within the UK, though. Lots of UK people call it scones.
What do you say,
like,
Harris?
It's a scone, man.
You call it a scone?
Yeah, it's a scone.
Yeah.
It was here, now it's gone.
Very, very. I feel like I have to put my pinky in the air and hold.
See, that's how I feel about scones. I think scones is the fancy way of saying it.
Really?
Yeah.
Scones.
Yeah, I'd like a scone, please. Where it's like, oh, can I have a scone?
I love it. Cultural differences on the Folk Entertainment Podcast. I love it. Okay, guys. So yeah,
you walk 20 minutes in the UK, Gilbs, and there's a different accent and culture.
You walk 20 minutes in Europe, and there's a whole other country.
Yeah, well, who asked you?
I walked 20 minutes here. I haven't even gotten to the end of my street.
Oh, look at you and your big country and all your
stuff. Manifest destiny. You can't fight it, neither can I.
Secret Invasion looks boring.
I disagree.
Someone say something positive, for the love of God.
I liked Indiana Jones, and I think it was a good way to end the character. The only way we made it better is if he got shot and died for the girl. If he died for Helena or died for Short Round. But either way, if he died sacrificing himself for a friend, it would have been better. And that way we could be done with it. It was like, that's it. He's dead. We're not going to be seeing him again. Because then they're going to watch Disney or Lucasfilm or whoever. Kathleen goddamn Kennedy is going to send him a whole, like a truckload of more money and a little bit of weed and be like, come on, dude, Indy 6, let's do it.
I would love it if they were like, do you know what? A weird amount of the budget just went on taking the red out of his eyes.
The red out of his eyes. All right, so looks like Ro's heading out. So thank you for being in here. It's been good talking with you. And what he says, go check it out. Everybody, go check out the movie. Decide for yourselves. Don't let us make your decisions for you. Go decide.
Also, it sounds like Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast are going to have their own show. So when you're done here, guys, go over and see them.
Indeed,
Scuttle on over.
Scuttle on. Exactly. Go check them out. And yeah, so actually, we're pretty much ready to wrap this up as well. So I'll go around the room one final time. I'll ask. So Harrison, where would you rate this movie? Like, I think we already talked about this part, but where would you in not necessarily out of 5, but out of 5 indie movies, where does this rank in the 5?
I'd say 4. Like I definitely enjoy it more than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but like I don't think it's better than the original 3 by any stretch. I don't think it would go above any of them. So the 4th best Indiana Jones movie.
All right, cool. Harrison, or not Harrison, Marshall. Marshall, where do you put it in? I know, every week I suck. It's like you guys look at the exact same. Like, how can you, it's like your brothers.
But the before and after of like beard growth cream.
Before I used was it 4 hymns after. But no, all right, Marshall, where do you put this movie in the rating?
I'd give it 5 boulders out of 10, Gilbs.
5 boulders. Well, no. It's good. But where would you put it in the ranking? Like, is it like Crystal Skull, and then I've heard some people who put Crystal Skull at the first one, which I don't know how, but where is it like Raiders, then what was it called, Crusade, and then this one, or where do you put this in the rating? Where out of the 5?
I put it second to last, only to
So yeah, 4th.
The Crystal, the Shia LaBeouf.
So
the
man.
Skull.
Well, I gotta put it at 3rd. I'm afraid it wins 3rd place. Temple of Doom is just, I can't get past that one chick. And now she's married to Spielberg. That's a whole other thing.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, she was dating Spielberg apparently when the movie came out. Like she was like it's a whole thing about like Hollywood, like behind the scenes history, is that they were fucking when on the set. Like they were, when they were filming Temple of Doom, she was doinking Spielberg during that, and then like 7 years later they actually got married. Like that's his current wife is Spielberg's wife.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Like there have been an awful number of good directors who do spoil things by just throwing their wife in there.
Like, I mean, they didn't get married until 91, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out in 84. But still, though, like,
yeah, it's like how Rob Zombie needs to stop putting his wife in movies.
yeah, nah, dude. Like,
She's good in some of them, but she doesn't need to be in every movie he makes.
Damn it, of all the fucking Indiana Jones, I also didn't get to use this one, so I'm gonna just do it real fast. But of all the Indiana Jones scenes that I got to play and fuck around with in this movie or in this podcast, I didn't get the one from. It's not really Indiana Jones, but it's the Family Guy one. Fucking Stewie being lady only here she humping director, which is kind of true. He was short round, and they do that scene, and he makes that comment, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Like, she was just boinking Spielberg. That's why she's there, and she was meant to be annoying. Well, she succeeded. Anyway. That'll be my last word on Temple of Doom. All right, guys. I think this is where we're ready to wrap it up. So I will say thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to Hans, Melvin, Ro, Mr. Action. Let's see, Tim, Scully, who else? Hans,
Justin Morrison.
Justin Morrison, Mo Brimba. Mo Brimba. I don't know what the fuck that is. The dude who trolled Harrison for his fucking ears. How dare you kink shame?
We'll get him in the car park after, don't worry.
AJ64. And yeah, and all y'all, everyone else Ubaldo, there we go. Everyone else Scully. Who I missed. Yeah, Scully, Harry, Marshall, all y'all, anybody I missed in the chat or who didn't comment, make sure you comment next to Darth Lycan. There we go. I almost missed him. But yeah, everybody, thank you guys all for being here. Thanks for being part of the show and part of our audience. You guys are awesome. And thank you to our host or to our co-host and our part-timer, to our partial Marshall.
Yeah.
Marshall, is there anything, I doubt it, but is there anything you want to tell us about? Anything you're doing? Anything new with you want to tell us about on YouTube? I doubt it, but at any rate, are you? Prove me wrong. Prove the American wrong. Do it.
No, Gilbs. Nothing new from me.
Way to suck. Sucks to say. I'm kidding. I don't know why. I'm fucking with you right now.
I put the effort in with the cowboy hat and the background. What more do you want from me?
I don't know. Tell us a new YouTube thing. And I'm kidding. But yeah, no. Thank you for being here, buddy. We hopefully will see you next week. Or if we don't, I look forward to the next time you're on the show. It's been good having you. It's good having the OGs here. If we had one more person who shall not be named.
I will remember you.
If we had one more person, it would be the original show. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll ask him to be on an episode one of these days, and we'll have a good old fashioned Fulcrum report throwback. But anyway, Harrison, is there anything you want to tell us about? Like, any new books? Any audiobook?
There's going to be a new audiobook for Plagueis out soon. So keep an eye on the channel, and I will at the same time make a thumbnail, which I forgot to do for the last video.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, he's fine.
I had a lot to do that weekend, so I was trying to get it out as soon as possible, and then just working too fast, forgot to do the thumbnail.
No worries, buddy. So at any rate, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell notification, all the good YouTube BS that we always tell you to do. Or don't do it. I don't know. I can't control your life. I'm not this is not Nazi Germany. I can't tell you what to do. But yeah, guys. But at any rate, we love you all. If you really like our content, maybe consider joining our membership as a council member of Fulcrum. But at any rate, that has been it for us. I've been Fulcrum. I have been Gilbert. This has been Harrison. Indiana Scones over here, or Scones, if you want to be British about it.
Milady.
If you want to be Lincolnshire about it. Indiana Scones. And yeah, this has been the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and go watch Indiana Jones. Or don't. I don't care. See you later, everybody.